Okay, great. So I'm here today with Lucette from Fidelity. It's great to have you here at the Euromoney ECBC Cover Bond Congress here in Munich. Lucette, what's really driving you as a investor to be buying covered bonds in the environment that we're in right now?
Thank you for inviting me. Obviously, it's a pleasure to be here in Munich, and I think now more than ever, the financial industry, but also the asset management industry, has a clear responsibility in what we will propose as client solution in the future, noticeably to pension plan, insurance company, which are dominating today the European market. So it is important to see how covered bonds still fit in this kind of solution, and how, as asset manager, having the responsibility to build more sustainable and responsible solution for our client, we like to include covered bond as key asset still in this solution.
Okay, you talk about sustainability there. I mean, I think, green cover bonds is something that's come a long way. Do you have a separate bucket for that, or that's in the main portfolio?
So obviously we've come out quite a long way this year, where we have detached purposely the analysis that our equity and credit colleagues have carried on every single company we invest in, and obviously the company we are lending our client money to. And we've detached the E, S, and G analysis from the core analysis. And we're now asking our equity and credit colleagues to come with a single rating and a single assessment, both in terms of where this company are today, but more importantly, where they are aiming to go. So are they truly engaging in this matter and their politics or their company strategies? Are they being detected by improving the E, the S, and the G component? Or are they quite moderately more fatalistically removed from this part of providing information to the market, to people like myself who will systematically study this company from a data standpoint, basically, as well as obviously endorsing our own analysis fundamental restriction. What we don't want is to exclude any company. We will, in the scale of A, being a good ESG company as reported by our credit combined with our equity analyst, we will probably invest a majority in ABC, and then we will purposely engage from our sustainability team on a company which are rated D and E. So we have now statistics for all our fund, not only the ESG fund, but all our fund on how do they fare in terms of concentration in ABC and D and E company, which are mostly improving or stable. The deteriorating one, this is where we believe senior management have not gained yet enough reasonable strategic decision to improve their profile, and that's probably the only company we would not want to see in the portfolio currently. But this big evolution of Fidelity portfolio means that today we are publishing the stats on all our ESG products, but also all of the portfolio for the benefit of all our clients. So green concentration is one of them, concentration in ABCDE rating as per our own Fidelity scale, but also using third-party rating as well, where the scale are more public, basically.
Okay, so coming back to covered bonds for a minute, as that's what we're here for at the conference here today. The covered bond directive is going to be implemented over the next few years. What do you think is going to be the long-term impact of that on the market?
Well, I think, obviously, as we know, the banks which are issuing covered bonds are the same banks which are also managing a vast array of flow in the industrial world. And they're also the same bank that will provide probably consumer loan to improve the energy and traceability of their houses, how insulated, and maybe in terms of new housing, using better material in the future. So I think it's a whole encompassing pool of bank were forcing them to endorse more sustainable engagement and more green engagement will benefit overall the economic situation, but also the carbon footprint of most of these banks across Europe. So I think it's quite interesting today to see how here in Munich these banks are engaging with investors. Obviously, there's definitively also pension plan and insurance company in the room to say, what do you need from us? What kind of information? What do you want us to issue? Are green bonds something you would want to pay a premium for? Or how is the liquidity of green bond versus regular covered bond? And I think these are very important matters as we sit here in 2019.
So that's very interesting when you say whether investors are prepared to pay up for a green bond. So I guess that's the loaded ball question here is you know, as a pension owner, you know, do I want my money to be invested in green, or do I want it to be making a return? Mm-hmm. You know, if I ask that to you, and obviously I'm only one person, but you know, when you're looking at the portfolio that you have there, are the people that are invested with you when they tick the buckets for what they want, how many of them are actually going, sustain ESG is very important for me in terms of, you know, the bucket that I need to tick? Mm-hmm.
Well, I think obviously we're living in a zero and less than zero interest rate environment, so returns are important for everybody in Europe. But I don't think what we've seen over the past decades will repeat itself. I mean, people have become more engaged. Obviously, we have COP summit on a regular basis now. It's not just Paris, but it's also a string of summit upcoming. So I think we have, as ambassador, as steward of sustainable and responsible investment, to not only engage with clients, but also draw solutions which are respectable for a long-term plan and will allow the person to retire at their given age, but also might not only be driven by performance, but also by respect of the environment.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I think there's some interesting takeouts there. So thank you ever so much, Lucette, and I look forward to seeing you next year where we're going to be in Barcelona.